Right. Welcome, guys. Great audience this week. Let me make sure I can get everything up and running, get the link here, as per usual. Come on down to AMA chat. All right. Hey, Center, how are you? Team Chlorodora, come on down. Everyone come on in. All right, let's just do some final checks here. Okay. Everything is looking good. All right. So, of course, if you guys have questions throughout, you can always drop them in AMA chat or in AMA questions. I'll bounce back and forth between both. Can you not hear me? Uh-oh. Can everyone hear me? Let me know in AMA chat. Is that just a Sinner issue, or is that an everyone issue? Oh, no. Well, that's not good. What is going on? Hmm. Issue. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see here. I'm just gonna test. Okay. Hey, Center, how are you? Okay, so it's working on the stream, just not on here. So, let me see. Let me try to work that out. Apologize, guys. Why is that not working? All right. Device. Okay. Huh. There we go. Did that change anything for anyone? Can you guys hear me? Using YouTube to listen? Oh dear. Okay. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. This has not happened before. So apparently the audio is working on YouTube. And I'm checking my app settings, and the input device is placed on my microphone. So that is very strange. Okay. Anything, Team Claradora? If not, I probably will just have to move forward with YouTube and then see how things progress. I'm not sure why there's okay. All right, we're just gonna have to wing it, guys. I'm sorry. Everything else will just progress like normal, but I'm not sure what Discord is. What's happening with Discord. All of the settings seem to be correct, so I do apologize for that. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll have to dig into it a little bit, and hopefully it is corrected for next time. All right, but thankfully we do have YouTube as a backup, so we'll continue forward with that. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. A couple of things to go through, and then I do see we have some questions, so I will certainly get to those. From the community side, did want to say that we decided to transition our poker tournaments into a weekly Stumble Guys, aka the Grand Stumble Sphere Weekly Tournament. So, Stumble Sphere is free to play and easy to access and should appeal to a broader community than poker has, at least in my opinion. As Stumble Sphere should be more lighthearted fun. Sinner, it's not on your end. Discord seems really bad today. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. All right, so with Stumble Sphere, the winner each week will receive Sphere Token prize, and winners will be determined based on a point system. So the better you perform in each game, the more points you'll earn, and then crossing the finish line in any round will score you extra points. So if you don't do well for the first initial rounds, you can always turn things around. So every round counts. These will occur every Saturday at 1700 UTC via Sphere's Discord server. So be sure to check that out. The only requirements are that you must use number one, use your exact Discord name to play the games. Number two, your Discord account must be at least 7 days old. And number three, you must have achieved a minimum of level 2 in activity on the Sphere's Discord. But other than that, test your skill each week and hopefully have some fun along the way. And congrats to Hussein313 for winning the Halloween Scary Story contest. If you have not already, please head to community events on Discord to give the story a read for yourself. Yeah, it's very strange because I can see myself lighting up when I speak. The setting is set to input my microphone and still nothing, so oh well. We can still hang out at AMA chat. It will just be a little bit delayed, unfortunately. Actually, let me see if I can bring this up for myself as well, just in case anyone goes on there. Okay. All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about are some unique aspects of Sphere that help it stand out a bit from other projects. And the first is that the treasury that we have, the size of the treasury relative to Sphere's market cap is actually pretty good relative to other projects. It's quite respectable. And we've been able to maintain that throughout the bear without buy, sell, or transfer taxes, without any token inflation, and all the while providing double-digit APR in blue chip yield for yield locked Spherians. So I do think that's worth pointing out that we've been able to maintain that and still hold a respectable treasury size. We also, of course, have multiple devs active on staff, continuing to build out the ecosystem. We have our own yield maximizer auto compounder with active pools across different chains. We, of course, have our own stablecoin where that liquidity was bootstrapped to get to almost 3 million TVL within 2 months, which is quite a, again, respectable amount considering that that initial liquidity has been bootstrapped. We've also, as a project, been allowed to have an AMA with Arbitrum themselves, thanks to that initial launch of Prion. And of course, always remember too that the phase 2 of Prion's launch is still to come. The other thing I think people have perhaps forgotten or maybe don't remember is that Sphere has zero governance given away to venture capital. And that is something that Sim was very adamant on and clear about from the beginning, and we've maintained that throughout this entire time. So I do think that's worth pointing out as well. Okay, just checking. All right. We've seen a lot of questions now come up in the chats about marketing. So there's a few things I'd like to talk about with respect to that. And the first is to emphasize that our current priority and our priority for the past couple of months is to build Liquidity 4-star. And so that is primarily where our marketing efforts are focused, and by majority where our dev hours are focused in terms of building out what Prion is able to do with what we've set forth, the foundation. You know, we also see questions, and I actually understand this one completely, right? We see a lot of questions about people wanting to know, you know, what's going on internally, what things are coming forward, what new things are on their way. And the challenge we face is that whenever internal processes or potential partnerships or ideas are in active discussion, it really does not make much sense to discuss those publicly until final decisions or plans can be made. But rest assured that when we are ready and able to share something, then we absolutely will. It is something that we are very happy to do when we're able to share something. Carmine Glitch. Discord acting up today. Yes, unfortunately. I don't make any sense of it. My voice is showing as it's on. I'm not muted. It's pulling from my mic. Doesn't make sense. YouTube's recording just fine, so I apologize for that. But my question is, does Sphere have any goals or plans before end of year? Yes, we do, but actually kind of in line with more or less with what I just mentioned. Those things that are being built that are not yet final or are potential partnerships that are in the works, until those are finalized and, you know, I's dotted, T's crossed, that sort of thing, then we're really not at liberty to talk about them or, you know, share information about them. But we are excited when we are able to share that information, because of course it's bringing new things to the ecosystem, building upon the ecosystem, which of course there's a lot of things in the background going on to do that. So it's a very good question, and I wish I could give you some more alpha with respect to that, but alas, we must be patient. And I know that that is difficult. It was much more difficult, I think, in the bear market, but then also now that we're turning into the bull market, I think it also brings with it some additional challenges of patience, right? Because the feeling turns from, what are you guys doing to help with the price to now that the bull market's coming, like why aren't these things ready yet? Such that like there's a change in the feeling from impatience to a sense of missing out. That fear of missing out. But rest assured, again, there's a lot of things working in the background, many different things on our list. So in time, kind of branching off into that a little bit about marketing, because many often ask about ad campaigns, thinking that that kind of thing can help spread the word about Sphere. And we've touched on this before, but again, just to reiterate, we did use ads back when there was a lot of liquidity and a lot of new users coming into DeFi. And throughout the bear, it did not make sense financially to pursue those campaigns. And even now, there is liquidity moving back into Bitcoin, but not yet fully into the altcoin or DeFi segments. It is to some extent, but we're really just in these starting phases of this next bull run, so we're really not fully there yet. So ad campaigns have to make sense financially, such that the effect of the ads, which is ultimately to bring new users to the protocol, and interested users, right, targeted users, that the cost of that the benefit of that will outweigh the cost. And truthfully, for the past around 2 years now, it's just simply not been the case that ads are cost effective. So it's not a cost effective marketing strategy at that time, which is exactly why the focus the past couple years has been about building, developing, growing the ecosystem as much as we can, and extending our relationship base as much as we can, so that we can establish as strong of a foundation as possible for this next bull market. And kind of within that, and I've touched on this before, I'm just trying to think, is there a better way around to say it? But not really. It's just that the vision, again, reiterating that the vision of Sphere has largely remained unchanged, right? The mechanisms that have gone into how to bring that vision to fruition have changed and evolved to match the market environment, but that end vision has stayed the same. And that's going to be true with anything that you do, being able to pivot and evolve with whatever comes at you, but still maintaining that end goal is part of what everyone has to go through in life on a daily basis. In the meantime, of course, as that vision unfolds, as I mentioned a bit earlier, users, of course, can continue earning that double-digit APR blue chip yield with Sphere by yield locking on dicing. And again, this is something that we have been able to maintain quite consistently throughout the long, arduous, and painful bear market. So now that things are starting to ramp up, I think things should begin to get quite interesting. All right, let's talk about DBank, because that's come up in chat a lot as well. So we do plan on using DBank in a few different ways, but the social use is now relatively brand new. So we do not necessarily want to just copy paste our Twitter account, which is something that we have seen other bigger players do. The only problem with this and hesitancy we have with that type of approach is that we would not really be getting any solid data from that, because DBank and Twitter have very different audiences. So because of that, we feel that the approach to DBank and Twitter should be tailored to each platform. So any new social platform is going to require a unique approach, and we don't necessarily know how how to use that platform, or what way is right or what way is wrong. Ultimately, the market decides how it wants to use it, and we then have to follow those rules. So right now we are tracking who is finding us on DBank, what's in their wallets, trying to soak up as many potential use cases and data samples as we can. And our first few posts will have a focus on trying to differentiate between the Twitter and DBank audiences, and then how to engage each audience. So within that, people have suggested giveaways, and giveaways are decent ideas. It can be an easy way to attract and gain followers, especially in early stages. But the problem with giveaways is it does run the risk of gaining followers whose primary objective is to get things for free, right? Is to receive more giveaways. So there's pros and cons to everything, and doing giveaway campaigns is, of course, also has pros and cons. Zeely as well. Zeely can be used in many different ways, and one of the most common is to build Discord growth in preparation of a token release, for example, which definitely has its merits. Another way we could use Zeely is to kind of incentivize the understanding and use of the Sphere ecosystem as a whole. So there's a good chance that you'll see a Zeely campaign geared towards that type of use when the ecosystem is ready for people to more thoroughly explore it. And that's kind of the key, is when the ecosystem is ready. If we were to put a lot of money in ad campaigns and Zeely before the ecosystem is ready, we may end up burning cash wastefully, which is not something that we are want to do. And it's been something that has kept our treasury alive and well throughout this whole bear. Speaking of the treasury, the treasury report, it will be released when it is done. So this isn't just a Q2 report for us. It's really more of a day one to current date revamp of our entire financial treasury and performance tracking process. So we have been criticized for releasing this type of information when it was incomplete. And for example, even the multi-farm dashboard has had its criticisms, even though that at the time was the best in the business. But on the flip side, we've also been criticized for taking too long while we work to do it right. And it really is time that we sit down and get it done right. That way, the next time, future reports will not take as long, and we know that they will be as accurate as possible. Actually, I saw a joke in the chat that, because we always say Sphere is building, and someone joked that Sphere is building patience, which I think is funny. But it is very important to have patience, especially in something that is working to build value and set foundations, because that takes a lot of time and hard work. And a lot of that is done behind the scenes. So it feels as though there's not much to show for it on the surface level, but the background underlying fundamental value is being constructed. So actually using that to pivot into the markets a little bit, I mean, the past couple years have been pretty brutal for crypto investors. Emotions have been up and down. Most people have fried their emotions. Patience is gone. Many people have made rash decisions trying to chase returns, to compensate for losses. Some decisions work out, some decisions fail. So it is always important to check in with yourself and evaluate why you're doing what you're doing, especially when it comes to finances. Even with things starting to turn around into a more positive light, regardless, it is always important to check in with yourself and evaluate why you're doing what you're doing. Sphere has the benefit of using a multi-sig, right? Such that one person's or even several people's emotions cannot impact the treasury. Instead, a global agreement must be made. But individually, we really don't have that luxury. So additional caution really must be taken to think clearly and take in all the information available to you before you then make a decision. So I always do want to, emphasize that drop of caution that these markets are volatile, and we have to make informed decisions within this space. All right. I'll be honest, it is so weird for me to not have you guys here present on Discord, being able to react and listen. It's just I guess, an unfortunate circumstance about how Discord's acting up. Makes me sad, but that's okay. We got YouTube as a backup, and for the recording, of course. All right. So if you do have any questions based on the things I've talked about, or anything in general about Sphere, the ecosystem, Preon, Dyson, Sphereland, that sort of thing, of course, go ahead and drop it either in AMA chat or AMA questions. I do see last minute Team Claradora and Sinner coming in clutch with those last minute questions on AMA questions. So let's dive in. So Team Claradora, Star has been floating in the low to mid 99-cent range ever since USDR caused the depeg. Is there anything in the works to shore up $1 again? Not specifically. The peg mechanisms are working as intended. And of course, the more liquidity that can be incentivized and created for the Star stablecoin, the more likely it is to fully repeg. It's quite common for stablecoins to kind of hover just below the $1 peg, so it's not an uncommon thing. And unfortunately, it is a lingering side effect or consequence of the USDR depeg. Even despite that, the significance of the repeg has been pretty substantial, how well Star has been able to recover. But the core mechanisms that maintain Star's peg are still in place, like collateralization, being able to pay off your loan cheaper. So technically right now, if you had a sizable enough position, you could buy Star from the market and repay your loan at a discount. That is a massive means of maintaining the peg. Of course, there's also the stability pool that helps encourage the peg. There are having the different liquidity pools as well as concentrated liquidity. So there are many things involved in that. It was looking pretty empty in there. I just wanted to give you something to do. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's a good question, right? It's a very reasonable question. But I appreciate the thought. That's very thoughtful of you. It's okay. We've had quite a few weeks now where there just haven't been many questions, and I'm not too surprised about that. It's just a reality of where we are in the markets right now. I imagine as things ramp up and the liquidity within DeFi increases and the global interest in DeFi increases, we're going to see a lot more newcomers to the ecosystem. So we're going to see a lot of repeat questions, and we're also going to see a lot of new questions, and that'll be a pretty exciting time. So it's okay to enjoy the lull, at least for now. Sinner, do we have any knowledge on how the team's treasury farming plus pre-on collateral farming has been going this last week? Yes, technically a treasury question. I overall haven't looked at the DeFi yields, but I would assume they've gone up due to higher volume and higher price. Exactly, yes. So many of the positions, like for example, the pre-on collateral farming that is specific to the treasury, right? It's a WMATIC WETH position. So that, and it's a concentrated liquidity position as well through Retro, managed by Ichi. Or Ichi. So, by nature of that type of liquidity position, the higher the volume, then the higher the yield. So with this increase in interest in cryptocurrency, in DeFi, that increase in volume has, of course, trickled down into DeFi. So that has resulted in increased yields, as well as an increase in both the ETH and WMATIC that is actually held within the liquidity position. So that naturally comes with it an appreciation of value of those positions. And as we're seeing that for much of DeFi now starting to come around, the treasury farming starts to become more lucrative at a dollar value. And what this will also open up is additional yield opportunities. Again, as more interest comes into DeFi, as more liquidity and volume comes into DeFi, that allows and generates more yield from fees and such that again, the treasury can benefit from that, and then ultimately have that cycle down to Spherians. I do think once Prion is fully launched and the stability pool is incentivized by Oprion, it will have a lot more activity within it. Yeah, so the kind of converting Prion into that, having that its own liquidity hub for star pairs will absolutely drive a lot more interest. It should drive a lot more interest and liquidity to Star, because the amount of incentivization for the Star token will increase exponentially based on that aspect of Prion's launch. So that will be a pretty exciting time when it comes forward. And my goodness, look at all the super reacts. Oh, it's Pandu. I see. All right. Let's see, what else can I update you guys on off the fly? I guess just in general, a lot of things in terms of the back end of how some of the ecosystem components work, like Dyson, making those things much more efficient and easier to build off of. It takes time. It's kind of invisible, so to speak, because on the outside you don't see anything happening. But from a development standpoint and from a future standpoint, it makes updating things and adding things much more seamless. So it is something that we've been working on as well, such that future changes can be much easier, can be implemented faster, so that things can run more smoothly. So a lot of those types of updates have been being worked on as well, which again, I know it's more difficult from an outside perspective looking in, because it feels like nothing is changing, nothing is happening, but there are a lot of those types of things being worked on in the background, in addition to the things that you guys will be able to see, use, and interact with when, of course, the time is right. Pandu says Discord Nitro gave us unlimited super reactions. Okay. So at least they're doing one thing right, but they don't seem to be able to hold my audio in the Discord, so I can't say I'm too happy with that. But regardless, we pulled through. We pulled through. All right. Well, that is really everything that I was hoping to cover for this week. I know these AMAs have been a bit shorter as of late, but it's kind of the nature of what we're doing and building. It's easier to talk about and harder to actually sit down and do, right? So there's more work to be done behind the scenes, but we continue to work on that. Super reactions greater than sound? I don't know. I guess I should. I feel a little offended by that. No, that's okay. Right, exactly. Sorry for audio getting wrecked. Here are some reactions to calm you all down. This is the first AMA we've had where the audio has just been completely broken. This has never happened before, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little upset. I would like to know why it is not happening. Obviously, because I want to fix it and make sure it doesn't happen next time, but I may not have any control over that. So we'll take it in stride, see how things go one step at a time. Okay. Well, hey, listen, thank you everyone for being here. Sorry again about the audio. Hopefully you were able to listen live on YouTube, and if not, then of course it'll be there recorded so that everyone can view it and see it. No, I know. Don't no worries, Team Claradora. I was just joking. So yes, thank you everyone for being here, for showing up. Do appreciate it. Thank goodness now the market is starting to give us a breath of fresh air. But I think this, myself and many people would say that this is really just the beginning of things starting to turn around. So it's a really exciting time. I think it's a very exciting time to be in crypto and to have pushed through what we went through the past year and a half. So once again, thank you all for being here. Always remember that you matter for who you are. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye, everyone. Peace.